It's Eagles versus Vikings. The Eagles are at a crossroads. Can they soar again, or will this be the revenge of Woogie? Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here. Does this game not seem like a crossroads game for the Philadelphia Eagles? It really, really does. I feel like the Eagles, they've got to win this game. Otherwise, it's going to be a really, really tough season. And I don't think it's a tough season in like there's middle of the road ground. I don't think this is a 500 type team or anything like that. This is a team that's either going to get it straight and go far and have a deep run in the playoffs, or this is a team that's going to totally collapse, okay? What are we in? Are we in the year 2023 or are we in the year 2024? That's what I want to know. And we're going to find out this week because the Eagles take on the Vikings in what I think psychologically is a must-win, okay? Now, we've got some news coming out from Minnesota, all right? Ian Rappaport is reporting this. Pound Vikings coach Kevin O'Connell announces that quarterback Carson Woogie Wentz will start versus the Eagles. Is this the revenge game for Wentz? J.J. McCarthy still recovering from a high ankle sprain and will be the emergency third-string quarterback. Let me tell you, if Wentz keeps playing good, Wentz plays real good, he ain't getting his job back, all right? And this is the revenge of Woogie. Woogie has a chance to really stick it to the Eagles, okay? And we can't allow that to happen. There are two guys that want revenge, Woogie and Isaiah Rodgers. And what's up with the whole Isaiah Rodgers thing? All of a sudden, the Eagles made it a point this week to come out and say, yeah, we wanted Isaiah Rodgers back. We tried, but he didn't want to come there. And he basically called them out and said, nah, that really wasn't the case. The Eagles made a mistake letting Isaiah Rodgers go. And it makes me sick. It probably makes you sick. It is what it is. Now, speaking of sick, let's talk about the injury report. Here's the injury report for the Eagles. Grant Calcaterra, oblique, did not practice, out. We couldn't tell from his blocking anyways. Jalen Carter, heel, limited practice. He's questionable. He did say he was going to play, but he is limited nonetheless. Then you have Zach Bond, thumb. I don't know what he's doing with that thumb, but he was at full practice. Jordan Davis, shoulder, full practice. Landon Dickerson, ankle, full practice, questionable. And then the big news, Quinyon Mitchell, hamstring, full practice, no injury designation. Quinyon is playing, and that's a big, big deal for the Eagles. Because if you have to go with Ringo and Adoree in this game, you are in big, big trouble. So getting Mitchell back is a good thing, unless he's not fully recovered. The one thing I worry about with the Eagles, I worry about a lot of things, but one thing that I do worry about when it comes to these injury reports is this team desperate? And because they're desperate, they're bringing guys back early like Quinyon Mitchell, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Carter. I mean, would it really hurt to give Landon Dickerson another week off, maybe another 2 weeks off, and get him healthy and get him right? I mean, after all, the offensive line hasn't played good. And I think because the offensive line hasn't played good, this has basically showed a lot of the weaknesses that the Eagles have, and it's magnified everything. So I do worry about that. I worry that the Eagles are worried and they're panicking. Why do I say panicking? Because in 2023, when the Eagles lost to the 49ers, and I believe it was Dallas after that, there was panic. And the Eagles fired Sean Desai, if you guys remember, and it just went downhill from there. So I don't want this team to panic. I don't want them to rush these guys back from injury, okay? We definitely don't want that. But look, the Eagles win this game, then they got the Giants next week, and we're right back in it. And look, and if we play the Giants and you want to go see that game, check this out. Sick of hidden fees? Is it ruining your ticket buying experience? Well, join me as I dive into TickPick, my go-to for NFL, NBA, concerts, you name it, they got it. Great thing about TickPix, it has no fees. What you see is what you pay. With over 20 million downloads, TickPick guarantees the lowest price and legit seats backed by their buyer trust guarantee. Whether it's NFL kickoff, NBA tip-off, or Major League Baseball playoffs, TickPick has your back for every event. Make sure you check out the link in the description. Use promo code HMA and get $20 off your first TickPick order. That's $20 off your first TickPick order. Use code HMA and be sure to check out TickPick. All right, so now when you look at this Eagles offense versus the Minnesota Vikings defense, and you look at what the Eagles are going to have to go through, this is not an easy matchup, okay? You got a Vikings defense who is second in the league in sacks. Their passing defense is third in the league. They don't give up a lot of yards. And a big part of that is Isaiah Rodgers, who we let go. And like I said earlier, the Eagles have made a big deal this week to make a point that they wanted Isaiah Rodgers back. Although they showed no interest, it seemed, at the time. Isaiah Rodgers says that's not true. Anyways, he leaves. He goes to Minnesota. And, yeah, it makes us Eagle fans sick knowing that Isaiah Rodgers was let go when he's having the year he has. But the Eagles, the one thing I think that they can do against this Minnesota Vikings defense is they can run the ball. They've got to get back to running the ball. The Vikings defense gives up 4.4 yards a carry. I think you can run it on them, even though Saquon Barkley is averaging just 3.4 yards a carry. And here's what Saquon Barkley said about the offense and getting back on track as a team as a whole. Zach Berman wrote this. Saquon Barkley said, quote, "I think it's just we got to win some games. Some guys were a run-first team. Some games we might be airing it out. Just got to get back to the conversation of what is winning football supposed to be like. That's the Eagles have more points than the other team in the end. I feel like we've lost sight of that. The city has lost sight of that. We've got to get back to that. We have a lot of things to fix, but it felt better being 4-0 rather than when we lost 2 in a row." And I get what he's saying. It feels better to lose than to win 4 games than to lose 2. Yeah, but you know what? If you had won 6 games in a row right now, you wouldn't be addressing the problems that you have. So I'm hoping that the loss to the Giants, the loss to the Broncos, that these losses will help get this team on track because they have to take a look at themselves in the mirror. Now, the one thing about the Eagles in the past is we've heard them say, especially in that year they collapsed, "Oh, we got to fix this. We're so close right now. We're almost there." And then nothing ever gets done. So they got to go on the field. They got to show it. And it does start with the running game because if the offensive line is playing bad and you can't run the ball, that's going to magnify all your other problems, okay? That's going to show all your deficiencies because I think that offensive line has been masking a lot of the issues that might have been there since last year. I would love to see the Eagles come out up-tempo and then, run the ball on second down, maybe throw on first down. I still don't want to fall back into the trap of the first 4 weeks where you run on first down and you run to the same inside zone that you run all the time and everybody knows where it's going to go. My fear is that the Eagles come out and they pass one game more than they run, and then they switch back to this run-only offense. You've got to be a balanced offense. I want to see them come out up-tempo, run, throw them first down 4 or 5 yards, come back, run on second down. Barkley should still end up with 20 carries in that game. He needs about 20 carries, and Hurts needs to throw about 20 to 30 times, okay? So keep it somewhat balanced. And if they do that, I think they'll be okay. But it's going to start with running the ball. This team has to run the ball. Now, when you look at the Eagles' defense versus the Vikings' offense, this can kind of be scary because you look at the Vikings' passing game with Addison, with Jefferson. They're good. They can move the ball. Carson has thrown the ball fairly well. He's got 5 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and they run the ball fairly well. Jordan Mason, he's got 4.7 yards a carry this year. So they move the ball efficiently, okay? And when you look at how we struggled in the secondary. When you look how we struggled against the run and with getting sacks and pressure, it's scary. So the Eagles' defense is going to have to, they're going to have to play their best game. They are. Now, we're getting Quinyon Mitchell back, which is good if he's healthy. I do worry about them rushing him back from a hamstring injury. That's the kind of injury that can linger a long time. So if he gets re-injured, then it was really stupid of them to play him. He's got to be 100%, in my opinion, to be on that field. However, Adoree Jackson and Keely Ringo against Addison and Jefferson have no chance. So at least playing Mitchell, and if he's healthy, it gives you somewhat of a chance. But where I think this is really going to come down to for the Eagles and their defense is I think you got to get to Carson Wentz. Now, here's the thing. We know Carson Wentz and his history. He tends to hold the ball long, too, just like they say about Jalen Hurts. The Vikings have also given up the most sacks in the first 5 weeks this year. So they do give up sacks. The question is where are you getting the pressure from? Azeez Ojulari going to step up? Joshua Uche? Zadarius Smith retired? Jalix Hunt? We need to find pressure. Will they move Jihad Campbell to the edge? Let Dean get more snaps. Now, Nakobe Dean coming in could also help against that run game. But the Eagles are going to have to find a way to get pressure. And if they can't get it home with the defensive line or edges, they're going to have to blitz more. They're going to have to bring guys and create pressure. Because that, to me, is how you're going to really neutralize the Vikings. You got to get pressure on Carson Wentz. If he has all day to throw, he will pick you apart with those receivers. I don't think the Eagles have a choice but to blitz if they can't get home with their front. And so far this year, they really haven't. I think Minnesota's going to move the ball. I think they're going to move the ball fairly well. But can the Eagles create a couple turnovers? If the Eagles win the turnover battle and they get 2 turnovers, let's say to none, they win this game. Also, I think that you've got to stop the Vikings in the red zone. I think between the 20, the Vikings are going to move the ball fairly well. But if the Eagles can stiffen up in the red zone and force them to field goals, I think we got a shot. The Eagles have a way of always coming out and playing their best game when most people have written them off. And a lot of people have written the Eagles off this week and expect them to lose. That's why I'm taking the Eagles this week, 28-21, beating the Minnesota Vikings. I think that this team is more like the 2024 team and less like the 2023 team. I truly believe that. Now, winning this game will open the door for the Eagles to be involved in trying to get some guys in here to help at the trade deadline. We'll talk about that in a future video. But right now, the Eagles, in my opinion, this is going to be a battle. This is going to go back and forth. There are going to be yards on the ground by both teams. I feel like the Eagles are going to get their running game going this week, and I think their defense is going to be good enough to keep the Vikings out of the end zone and not scoring touchdowns, kicking field goals. So I got the Eagles 28-21, somewhere around there, 28-20, somewhere in that area. And I think the Eagles will then face the Giants, but I think they're going to get the win. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. With that said, take care. Talk to you later, of course. Don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Now would be a great time to talk about our new sponsor, ProfitX. ProfitX is the ultimate sports prediction market. Join thrilling sweepstakes to make peer-to-peer plays with fellow fans. Set your own odds for bigger payouts. All legal in 40 states. Outsmart your friends. Elevate your game with ProfitX. All you got to do is use promo code Philly500 at the sign up to get up to $200 in ProfitX cash. That's $200 in ProfitX cash. All you have to do is use promo code Philly500. Must be of legal age. Void where prohibited. Start now at ProfitX. Oh, I love the Eagles this week. I got to tell you, I love them. -2 in Minnesota. Usually the home team gets 3 points for just being a home team. And when you see a road team -2, -1, those are the kind of games I like. I'm taking the Eagles. I'm also taking the over this week, right? The over-under is 43. I think the Eagles and the Vikings are going to score points. Vikings are going to be able to score on that secondary, and the Eagles, they're going to have to score points to basically cover that -2 points. So I like the Eagles and the over this week. That's my play. And if you like that, you can do that at ProfitX. You'll get $200 in ProfitX cash. Just use promo code Philly500. Get $200 in ProfitX cash with simply just using promo code Philly500. You won't be disappointed.
Oh, God. No. I want to be like the Eagles.
That's all, folks.
The brother screwed us.